Hello, Dog TV. Welcome back to another Canine Enrichment Talk, another Dog TV chat. I have an amazing guest. Maybe you've seen her in some of our past chats, but I want to thank you all for joining us this week. We're not over yet with Canine Enrichment Week, but this is certainly a Friday, so it feels like sort of the end of the week. But it's been an incredible experience. We've learned about a ton of different things for all of us to become better pet parents. I know I've learned a ton. My dog, Mickey Mouse Myers, is a better dog because of this week. And I want to thank all of our incredible guests that we've had on. I want to thank the sponsors, Dogtopia, Nativo Pets, Kong, Fear Free Happy Homes, iFetch, and of course all of you for being a part of this. It's been an absolute incredible experience. And we're so excited to sort of the last live of the week, but not the last day of Canine Enrichment Week. Tomorrow is the last day with home enrichment. There'll be emails sent out and advice and videos. So check that out. Head over to dogtv.com/canine-enrichment for the prizes and all the toys, and all the fun stuff, and all the tips and all the tricks. And all those videos, you're going to see our special guest today. She is a certified trainer, dog behavior counselor, lead animal trainer, daughter of the world's sexiest vet. Please welcome Mikkel Becker.
Hi, great to be here. You better not tell Dr. Evan Anton that my dad took his title. It's an ongoing competition between them. So
yes, there's a competition between two. If you want to maybe a little backstory on this world's sexiest vet competition.
So Dr. Evan Anton is one of our families. He's a really good friend. He has Evan Goes Wild, the TV show, has a new TV show coming up and a new book. And literally, Evan is a very good looking guy. He definitely looks like, I think he looks like the, Prince Eric from The Little Mermaid, like come to life. Like he is a good looking guy, but he was at least, I think he may be 5-time People's Sexiest Man. He made the list. And so my dad, Dr. Mikkel Becker, he loves to give him a hard time and tells Evan all the time that he took his title. So Evan's only the second sexiest vet. So
excellent. Please, if you're watching this, tag Dr. Evan on social and tell him he's been called out. It's official. A gauntlet has been drawn. We'll have to have them on for like a world sexiest vet content coming up. Well, thank you so much, Mikkel, for joining us to talk about sensory enrichment. How's everything going in your world during this whole season with your family and dogs?
It's going really well for what it is. I've definitely I've been social distancing in Idaho with my family. And so we have my grandma's 95 and my uncle is definitely immunocompromised. We've just been trying to stay away and it's been awesome in the way that we've really kind of gone back to, the basics, what's really important, spending time with our animals, riding horses, hiking, and just, in Idaho, we are just blessed with a beautiful place and, lots of nature. So it's been a good time. The dogs are really enjoying it, getting out of Spokane and instead getting to be up in North Idaho and getting all that space and kind of living life as a dog wants to live it.
I absolutely love it. That is the best thing. Here in Minnesota, we get to be outside all the time. But today we are talking about outside and sort of inside as well. Let's talk about let's start at the beginning. What is sensory enrichment?
So sensory enrichment is all about engaging your dog's senses. And the primary sense that we don't always think about is our dog's sense of smell. So just like for us humans, really our vision is so important. And so when we talk about something, we talk about how we view the world or see the world, or, it's always like, we really see it through the lens of our eyes. However, our dogs are actually primarily interacting with the world through their nose. So their sense of smell is thousands and thousands of times more powerful than our own. And so when we think about, what our pet is seeing in the world or viewing in the world, a lot of times we can't actually see what they are seeing in the same way because they really are perceiving so much. And so whether it's stress hormones or they're perceiving who was there 10 minutes ago, what dogs have passed by, what critters, all these things that we can't see that our dog can see. And one of the best ways to really engage our pet's mind and to leave them tired at the end of the day is to engage all of their senses, and especially their sense of smell. And we can actually help to calm them and promote their well-being by doing that.
That is amazing to see that, and it is so true. Like your dog sort of has this. You smell one thing, but your dog maybe are smelling it or finding it, or like they may find something under the couch. Or the worst is when you're around other dogs and your dog like knows by just smelling you.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I always feel guilty.
Very, very much so, which is maybe a good thing. Maybe that's so. Why is sensory enrichment so important versus just like taking my dog for a walk or giving him a good smelling treat? Like, what is it beyond what we're kind of all doing as pet parents?
So a lot of times when we take our dogs out on a walk, for instance, so that's really a good example. A lot of times when we're taking our dogs out on the walk, we're thinking more about the distance or the pace, where for our pet, one of the best ways to keep them calm and to actually have a fulfilling walk is to allow them the time to stop and smell the roses. And so you may have walks where you are going for distance, but if you can have those sensory enrichment walks, those scent walks, where you allow your dog the time to stop and to sniff and to explore those scents, you really are promoting that sense of calm, that sense of well-being, and you're allowing your dog to be a dog, because that's how they check their P-mail. They don't go on the internet and have the same email service that we do, but they find out a lot about their world through their sense of smell. So they find out what animals have been there, what that dog has already eaten, what gender they are, and their intact status. Like there's so much information that they glean through their sense of smell. And by allowing our dogs to do that on the walks or in the home, there are lots of games that we can do to encourage their sense of smell and to really bring that out, that it's really going to leave our dog more fulfilled and help us to better live with our dogs, because it helps to channel their natural behavior in an acceptable way, which if we don't give those outlets, a lot of times that can come out as problem behavior, like raiding the trash can or stealing our laundry and things like that.
That is so. I think that's one of the big things I've learned about enrichment is it's sort of redirecting your dog. If you're not letting them do a good activity, a healthy activity, they're going to sort of fulfill that need sort of without you. And so this is not about if it's going to happen. It matters under the circumstances. What is some of the big benefits of sensory enrichment besides monitoring their behavior, like smelling the trash can or your laundry?
So it's really a great way to give them exercise. So it's a type of physical exercise, a type of mental exercise. It's really calming for their brain. So when they're sniffing, they're engaging a different part of their brain. So one way that we can actually help to calm our dogs in a situation when they're stressed is to give them something else to do. And one of my favorite games is to play a game called Find It. And that's where we take either one treat or perhaps a handful of treats and we scatter them out on the ground for them to find. And especially if you're out in the grass and you have a dog that perhaps is reactive to other dogs or to people, one way that you can help to redirect their energy is to have them play the Find It game. So as soon as they see a dog or a person in the distance, perhaps we step off the trail a little bit or off the main walking path, play Find It with them as that person or that other dog passes by. And that's really going to give them an alternative focus. It's going to promote calm for them through their body. And then it also, to the other dog, it's promoting a calm type of body language to them. So, and it's communicating that they're not a threat, because when they're sniffing, they have their head down. That's much less threatening than the dog directly staring back at the other dog, which is going to incite a fight. So it really has a lot of benefits that we don't even always think about, including those better communication between dogs.
Yeah, Find It seems like a super, kind of an easy game for any pet parent to do. They have treats, they have a dog, they have an environment. So smell is one of the senses that we can talk about, but the other is sort of hearing. Can we talk about that, sort of what that means to dogs, and how is it different than like human hearing?
Absolutely. So for our dogs, they hear at different frequencies than we do. So a lot of times they're hearing a lot higher pitches than we can hear. So a lot of times actually we think, gosh, our dog is barking at nothing. And in a lot of situations, our dog actually can probably hear something that we aren't even able to hear. So they perceive a lot more than we realize. So it's sort of like that sense of smell where we may not notice something, but our dog does. And so a lot of times they are hearing at the higher pitches. And what we can do is we can actually help to calm our pet by having that calming music. And I know Dog TV does a great job of having calming music within your programming, and that's very beneficial for dogs. And when we look at calming music, we can look at things like species-specific music, which is set at the beat of a pet's resting heart rate. So it's the right beat to help their body to calm down and to relax. You can look at classical music or soft rock or reggae. So there are lots of ways we can calm our dogs, and even acoustical books. So The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe was an audiobook that actually was shown to help promote calm in shelter dogs. And so there are lots of ways we can help our dogs through music. And right now, as we're approaching the 4th, I know that this is a really important time to be thinking about acoustics and what your pet is hearing. And one of the best things that you can do right now before 4th of July when it comes to the sounds your dog is going to be hearing is to promote the calming sounds. So to fill your space with good sounds. So I would highly suggest having calming music on, and then also having white noise. So this may be a quiet fan, this may be a pet fountain, something that can also fill in the background noise. So that way, if there's a lull in the music, there's some other sound going on.
And I like that. Yeah, I was able to interview the Grammy Award-winning composer that does some of the dog TV music, and it's so interesting how he was setting it up to the certain beats per minute based on the science, and it was very relaxing and calming. If you've never turned it on, I would strongly recommend just doing it for 20 minutes or an hour, and you're gonna just be like your body just going in your dog's body, and it's a wonderful feeling. It's kind of magic.
It's so true. I've had numerous dogs where that was really the main thing that helped them. One dog in the vet hospital who had gone through numerous vets, no one could really touch the dog. And just by letting the dog and the owner have that time to settle in and to relax, having that calming music on, and also having a compression garment, my father was able to go in and have a fear-free veterinary exam with the dog, who was willingly taking treats, was very relaxed the entire time, and music played a big role in that success.
Very, very cool. I've heard that sort of helps in those very, very high stress environments in a doctor's appointment, and certainly can help in a family and preparing for, we all know it's coming up on the 4th. Probably, I know in my neighborhood, it starts on like the 1st. People are starting to light stuff off. So start now, get that routine on, turn on dog TV, get a fan in the background, start that routine now. You're not playing catch up. The worst is on the 3rd, and my dog's freaking out. Well, I mean, they weren't prepared for this. They didn't have that calming thing, that kind of security blanket, whether it's some sensory enrichment or physical enrichment or nutritional enrichment. That helps.
Absolutely. Well, a couple other things I want to add in, because I know a lot of people are worried about the 4th and things that they can do. I would definitely suggest talking to your pet's vet. And if you don't have one currently, going to fearfreehappyhomes.com and looking at the zip code searchable directory where you can find a fear-free certified professional. There are some medications, some supplements that may really be beneficial for your pet. And especially when, training can be so helpful. I would definitely suggest having some really tasty treats on hand. So that way, whenever there's a new or a novel noise, having these scattered throughout your home in different locations and treat jars. So that way you can always pair a treat or play one of your pet's favorite games whenever that new, novel, or startling, scary noise is out. But for some pets, when they are in that all-out panic, I used to have panic attacks when I flew when I was a little girl. And when you're in that state, you just are not open to learning. And it's just, you are in survival mode. And a lot of pets are in that panic mode. And that's where really medications and supplements can be so beneficial and help to prevent that stress escalation before it even starts. So, and that's really looking after their emotional well-being, and not only in that present moment, but also in the future, because any scary situation that our pet endures, every time they panic like that, it increases the likelihood that that's going to happen again. So that's where really training and talking with your veterinarian really go hand in hand.
Very, very much so. And we'll be talking more about this on July 1st at 1 p.m. Eastern with Laura Nativo, who you spoke with earlier this week, getting some tips and tricks, some hands-on. So let's move back to sensory enrichment. We talked about the Find It game. Is there maybe another, maybe more advanced sort of sensory game or tool that you've used to help your dogs sort of hone this skill or sort of flex this muscle?
Yeah, so one of my favorite games when we look at the indoors, there are lots of ways we can engage our pet's sense of smell inside. And one of my favorites is by creating an indoor dig pit. So I know that iFetch was on one day, and they have some great products. And one of my favorite ones, it's one fear-free reward before, is the iDig. And so this is where you can hide different treats and different toys inside of it, and it has different pockets. So that's an excellent toy, probably one of my favorite pet toys of all times. Another one that you can think about is creating your own as well. So maybe you have a bunch of different pet blankets and towels and different bedding, and so you just create like your own dig pit. So this could be in the bathtub or in a basket, and having the dog treats and food and chewies and toys kind of hidden throughout. So your dog really needs to dig and to burrow and to use their nose to really search out and find those goodies inside. And this is great entertainment for them. It can keep them entertained for hours. And so it's a great way to exercise your dog's mind and their body and keep them engaged even when you can't physically always be the one doing it with them.
Very fun. I love that, sort of creating this sort of like treasure trove, hidden thing, and using different treats. And then I know a lot of treats now are sort of like the variety of flavors and you know, sort of senses in there. What is your sort of insight into those as sensory enrichment, using like a blueberry treat on one day and a steak one on the other? Like, do you mix it up, or do you have kind of your single one? What's your sort of thought process on different treat flavors?
Well, I really like to do what I call a tail mix. So instead of trail mix, where you just have a variety. So pets really like variety, just like people. They can get really bored. And so having variety and also giving pets a choice. So with my own dogs, a lot of times I have 2 or 3 options, and I let them sniff out which one they want. So whether it's a chewy or a treat, letting them tell me this is what they want. And they're going to tell you, by the way, that that's the one that they go to and stay at. So maybe it's the one they go to first or the one that they linger at the longest. But it's really beneficial for our pets to give them that choice and that voice. And one of the ways that we can do that is through their sense of smell, and let them tell us which treat they actually want or which toy they want to play with that day.
What a fun way to giving them options, allowing them to really drive the boat there. So let's talk to that sort of new dog parent. We've heard a lot of amazing stories about adoptions and fosterings during the season. People are at home a lot more, and they want to bring some love in. So let's talk to that new parent who just brought in a dog, just brought in maybe a puppy. Where would you start with sensory enrichment at sort of the earliest age, you know, puppy, and then for a dog who maybe came in through an adoption situation where their background might be unknown?
So one of the primary things that I would suggest for any pet guardian is to not only be looking at feeding your pet's body, but to also be feeding their mind. So mealtime is really that time to engage both body and brain in productive activity. And we want to make mealtime more natural for our pets. So rather than it just being kind of mindless eating, they eat out of the food bowl and it takes them a couple of minutes. Instead, we want to challenge them. And this is also really challenging all of their senses. So their sense of smell can be really challenged at mealtime. That's where you can be feeding through different food puzzles. And for those pets that are more advanced, maybe you have multiple food puzzles, or you have more challenging food puzzles, because there are a wide variety of different levels for them. But having multiple food puzzles, or even hiding multiple food bowls around the home, is a great way to encourage your pet to use their sense of smell. And we can even create our own food puzzles out of recycled materials that we already have on hand. So we can use a milk jug container, for instance, and you can tie a leash or a rope on the handle part of it, cut a hole in the bottom, fill it up with some kibble, and hold on to it, or tie it up to something sturdy, and let your dog use their nose and their paws to kind of bat some of that kibble out from the inside. Or use a Kong. Freezing a Kong is a great way to keep your pet occupied even when you're away. So when we think about separation and being away more from the home now, as a lot of us are starting to venture out of the home, that's a great way to keep your pet's body and their brain engaged even when you're not physically there. So, and it helps to pair your separation with something positive.
I love that we've talked about all these different types of enrichment, but at the end of the day, they sort of all come together to create this sort of best environment, you know, being social and mental and physical and sensory and nutritional, sort of all blend together. You can't just do one. And there's some activities that sort of bring it all together. I know we have sort of some really cool people in the audience right now, so I'd love to just talk about what the fear-free model is all about. Because sometimes I'll see it on a package, or I'll see it on a store, or see it on a vet, and what is that all about? What does that really mean to be fear-free?
So to be fear-free is to be aware and to be really aiming to protect the pets, not only their physical well-being, but their emotional well-being as well. So Fear-Free is a certification program for veterinarians, for trainers, for groomers, and Fear-Free Happy Homes is the pet owner, the pet guardian directed type of website that's really all about information on how to protect your pet's welfare, their well-being. And so it's from ways to attend to your pet's body language and to better understand what they're saying, to being able to promote better behavior and training through emotionally protective strategies that are humane and really effective. And this is something that we've worked with. I mean, there have been hundreds of experts literally through Fear-Free that have worked together to create this information that's vetted information that's really safe and effective for pets and is helpful for the whole family. So it's really safe types of training and interaction with your pet.
I absolutely love that. It's like effective. I think that's the thing that's like sort of what's happened in the past. Well, that works, but this can work better for the pet, more effective in training and relationship building and a happy dog at the end of the day. So what is maybe your sort of last summary takeaway for sensory enrichment? What's the 5-minute, the 30-second elevator pitch on why sensory enrichment and what to do?
So when you think about your pet, a lot of times, we may be thinking about, that, I mean, they're cute. They almost look like, four-legged child with fur, but our dogs are still dogs at heart. And so through enrichment, we're able to allow our dog to be a dog in a way that works for them and that works for us. And so whether it's in changing the way that we feed them, having different games to play with them, or even changing their experience of veterinary care. I think that it's also important to protect their well-being. And one thing with Fear-Free, when you talk about taking your pet to the vet, a lot of times fear, anxiety, and stress have been the main hindrance for us taking our pet in when needed. And so that's where having a fear-free professional that knows how to look after your pet's emotional well-being and has the strategies and the techniques to be able to continually protect them, even when you can't be there. So whether they're going in for a procedure or during COVID-19, a lot of times we can't even be there with our pets in certain situations. So that's where you really want someone on your same team who's going to be looking after your pet's emotional welfare the entire time.
Excellent. Thank you so much. That's so helpful. And I think this whole week has really been about being a better pet parent. And that last decision of when you hand off your dog, your fur family member, and sometimes you're handing off in a parking lot, to know that the people inside the building are going to do the same things that you're doing outside the building is a good sign of relief for any dog parent. It's been an absolute pleasure, Mikkel. I want to thank all of our guests for joining us during this week, during this chat. Head over to dogtv.com/canine-enrichment to win some amazing prizes, to get some more tips and tricks. Actually, Mikkel is our sort of spokesperson for Canine Enrichment Week, and so she has some amazing tips on there. And then also download the Dog TV app, and there's even some more exclusive canine enrichment content on there, tips, tricks, advice from the Dog TV team and Mikkel. Thank you all for joining us this week. And next week on July 1st, 1 p.m. Eastern, we're going to take a deep dive into some of the advice that Mikkel talked about today with Laura Nativo about sort of preparing your dog for the 4th of July. Well, Mikkel, I want to thank you and the entire Fear-Free Happy Homes team for joining us and for being a part of Canine Enrichment Week. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Oh, thank you so much. Stay safe, and thank you again for this opportunity. It's been awesome.
Thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful weekend. Look for your email box on Saturday about home enrichment, really cool articles and tips, and learn more about that. And make sure you go over to dogtv.com/canine-enrichment for the giveaways. Some amazing partners have given away some stuff, and we want to make sure you get that. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and talk soon.
Hey.
Bye, guys.